What's up everybody, my name is Dwight and welcome back to GeForce Garage. With the recent announcement of RTX coming to Wolfenstein Youngblood, we thought it would be fun to invite over some friends from Origin PC to show off a very custom build they did to celebrate the new game. Well, welcome Daniela and PJ to GeForce Garage. What did you guys bring us today?
Today we brought you what we call Panzer Prime. So it takes our Prime Genesis case and also combines it with some Wolfenstein elements, which makes it Panzer Prime.
What was the inspiration behind this build?
We started this build before we even got hands-on with the game. So we took our inspiration from just a few select screenshots that were available at the time. So we just kind of tried to learn about the main characters from the game, which are the Blazkowicz twins, and who they were up against. Bethesda at the time had a few different artworks available. So they had their primary artwork, which you can find on the side of the case on our laser etch that spreads across even through the bottom. And then they also gave us some secondary artwork, which you can see through the partial UV print on the main side, where you can see through to the inside of the case.
I assume that this is not how the Prime case comes right from the factory, so what sort of modifications did you actually do to the case?
We wanted to do something battered, like it just went into battle, got repaired, and then just went back out again. I literally broke the entire case down from every piece that we could possibly do with it. Then we started sanding everything down to give it like a little blemished look. Dremeling pieces, taking chunks out of little pieces of the case itself to look like it just got tore up and beat up and came back.
Yeah, I noticed that you have like a giant claw mark and a bullet hole in the power supply cover. How'd you go about doing that?
That inspiration actually came from Daniela.
From the screenshots, there was one in particular that really stood out to us, which was in the middle of a huge fight with a huge mechanical dog that's called the Panzerhound. So on the power shroud itself, the Panzerhound attacked and kind of made that claw mark across the system.
I pulled the power supply shield out of the case, and I just put 3 pieces in it, got some pliers and frayed it out so it actually looked like something just really tore right across the case. The holes in the case itself, what I had to do was actually just give it the effect with a drill, and then same thing with the pliers, just open it up like if it was just blasted through from one side to the other. The hex on the case, which we got super lucky with, our case actually utilizes hexagons for an effect. They're on the actual suits of the twins.
And I noticed you got a bunch of like bullet shells and frayed wires and everything in there.
Yes.
Like, how'd you go about doing all that?
I am very big on my cable management when I do all the projects and the work that we do. So in this case, since it didn't necessarily have to be super neat, I tried to implement a little bit of a messiness. The frayed wires actually came from a bulk package power supply. What I did was I put them in certain spots, and then once I had them wired up inside the case, I grabbed the Dremel and just tore up the frayed areas and cut up the wires and stuff just to give it that look like something was yanking on certain things. And then the bullet casings, luckily there's a shooting range close to our job, so I was able to contact them and they were more than happy to just hook us up with a bunch of casings.
Yeah, I noticed that you have some around the CPU cooler.
Yeah. CPU cooler, holding the front plates of the cages in the front, any little place where the thumb screw would be on the system, it's being replaced with a bullet casing.
I've noticed that you have a bunch of different water cooling tubes in there from different colors and everything like that. What was the inspiration behind all that?
To continue with the theme that we were doing with Wolfenstein, we decided to use different color tubing. So I got a couple plumbing fittings from Home Depot. I used those in the tubing. The liquid cooling we used, Primo Chill, was like a sun orange. We wanted that effect so with the lighting, it actually would make the liquid look like it was like fire.
Is there any part of this case that someone just looking at it for the first time may not see that you kind of want to talk about?
If you open up the access panel where we usually put our SKU number for customers, we actually marked 38 notches for 38 years of Wolfenstein. And on the back of the case as well, we have a rubber mount that covers and protects the CPU in the backside that has our Origin logo. We marked 10 on that to commemorate our 10-year anniversary.
Well, the build looks great, but what are the actual components?
We are utilizing our Origin Prime Genesis case. The motherboard in the system that we have is an ROG Maximus 11 Hero with a Intel i9-9900K. It has 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RGB memory. The storage for the system is a 12 terabyte Seagate BarraCuda 3.5-inch drive. The CPU block, GPU blocks, and all the fans are all Corsair utilizing their IQ software. For the GPUs, we're using dual GeForce RTX 2080 Ti's in a vertical mounting setup to showcase the actual GPUs and the liquid inside the system.
Well, thanks guys for bringing this by. This was awesome to see. Hopefully we'll have you guys back with your next project and then you guys can show that off.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and I'll see you for the next one.